Hello everyone, it's been a while. I have a few updates on Tailia Phoebe that I wanted to share because I've been real quiet. I've been real quiet about the making of the next book and all that stuff. I've shared plenty of big updates throughout the months, but I haven't really sat down and talked about it in a video, so this is what I want to do. But first of all, and this is very important, we gotta talk about the previous books. The books I've already released and are on Amazon, because this is not going to be fun. I had to increase the prices of some of the books. So long story short, Amazon KDP, what I use to publish my books, like Kindle direct publishing, they've updated their revenue system or whatever, their relevance. I don't really know. What I do know is that by mid-June, if I didn't update the prices of my books, then I will get zero revenue. None at all. So I didn't really have a choice, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I wanted to make a quick section talking about the prices because there is some good and there is some bad. First of all, the good is that I managed to find a bit of a compromise. What I did is I made Tailia books 1 and 2 cheaper. Now they are $7.99 instead of $9.99. Because the first two books were always meant to be together, I figured that was a good way to emphasize that, and it's more accessible. In the UK, they're $7.99 as well, and in France, they're $7.80. In Spain, $7.80. In Italy, $7.80. I'm giving a few examples from European countries, but obviously US is the main target. Germany is $7.70. Then, Tailia books 3 and 4 and the entire Ghost of Tailia trilogy keep their prices. They are still $9.99 off throughout. I think UK is $8.99, I might be wrong. Those books get to keep their prices because they don't have stupidly long page counts. So that's good. Now the important thing, and the thing that sucks the most, is the Beyond Tailia trilogy and Tailia and Phoebe. Those books were $9.99. In fact, I had managed to make Beyond Tailia book 3 $9.99 somehow. That's no longer the case. All of those books are now $10.99, which I fucking despise. Going for a full price breakdown, in the UK they are $9.99, surprisingly. In Germany, $10.70. In France, $10.60. In Spain, $10.40. In Italy, $10.40. In New Zealand, $10.90. And that wraps it up, I think, in terms of like the main countries that I have in my notes right there. I really hate doing this. I really do, because these books are not worth a whole lot, Like they're not going to be worth $15, for example. Like that's stupid. I think the prices that I had for them were great. So having to make them go up, it's ridiculous. Pushing the bad news aside, let's talk about Rogue. So first of all, new logo. Here you go. It's not that different, but I just wanted to let you know. I did make that public a few days ago. Rogue has been going very well behind the scenes, but not very quickly, if that makes sense. The way I write the books is very fast-paced, usually. Except if I take long breaks, I can finish these books in like 3 months, for example. Rogue has been a bit of an exception because even though I started writing it in February, there was a 4-month-long delay or pause in the middle of April to like early May. Why? I can't tell you. I'm sorry, I just can't tell you. That's beyond my control. Margot and I, we worked on something that we literally cannot talk about in the slightest. Like, the only thing I can say is that we can't say anything about it. So I'll leave it at that. We had to work on this, and that delayed the production of Rogue. Luckily, I'm now working full-time on Rogue, essentially. So I'm writing a lot. Right now, the book is at 23 pages. We are way past 50,000 words now, and there's still a long way to go, but I'm extremely happy with how things are going, and the book should be ready for a summer release. I do have a release date in mind, but I will not say it in case it isn't met. I don't have much else to add on Rogue. I've made it pretty clear again that it's a horror book, it's Phoebe-centric, it's about existence, that it's a little slower paced, it's a little more psychological, and it's also pretty gruesome, which warrants a big trigger warning and all that stuff. It's a very, very drastically different book compared to Eyes on Me, and that's what makes it extremely exciting. For more details, you can check out like the posts I've made around this book. And yeah, it's the first time where I feel like I really can't say much because like I've been quiet because I've been working, And if I wasn't quiet, I wouldn't be saying much. It would just be like every week I'll be like, hey, work is going great. Hey, work is going fine. hey, I'm still writing Rogue, it's going great. It's kind of fucking pointless. I can assure, however, that there will be like major news on Rogue very soon. I have the description ready, it's written, I like it, but it's not going to be public for a little longer because I need to time these things pretty well, so that way you don't get like the description 3 whole months in advance and you just forget about it by the time the book releases. Stuff like that. It needs to be balanced. That's also why I'm quiet. It's because like now is not the time to talk about these things. I can at least say that Margot and I are working on the core. We did work on it a little bit by accident, I guess, but it's ramping up in speed right now, so that's great. Something else I want to talk about is the schedule. What I mean by this is that once Rogue is fully written and published and all of that stuff, I'll have to work on the schedule for all of my upcoming projects. Right now, there's a ton of Tailia Phoebe stuff in the horizon, and it's actually a little blurry what's going on in my head. In the sense that there's a lot, but there isn't a clear structure, you know? I've mentioned that I wanted to work on an interactive novel, and that it was going to be the next big book. That's not the case. That's not the case anymore, and I'll talk about why in the future. The project is not dead, it's just not happening this year. So I need to figure out a whole schedule, a whole plan of the releases, and also have a brief idea of when each book is going to release. So I'll do a video all about this. You'll get a bunch of details on like the third novel and whatever happens after and all that stuff. So it's gonna be great. Not everything, obviously, but right now there's a schedule that needs to be done. And for me to come up with it, I need to finish Rogue and to wait for something about that thing I can't talk about, except that I can only say that we can't talk about it. Does that make sense? It's a mess. It's the first book series that I work on that is both completely independent and self-published, and which I'm not allowed to talk about much because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Some things that aren't even in my control. That's how big this whole thing is. It's very important. It's going to last a few years. It's going to be a lot. There's a lot of time Phoebe ahead. I guess I can tell you some first details on the third novel without spoiling much, like the title and all. So I can say that it's a lot more lighthearted, it's a lot more charming, and it still has the usual gut punches, and it's very wacky. It's wacky in the sense that it's not the kind of premise that you expect right after the existential dread of Rogue. Like, it's a fun book, very not cute, but it's very dumb in a good way, while still being a Tailia Phoebe book at its core, with the tonal shifts, with the Tailia Phoebe shenanigans, all of that stuff. So I'm very excited to write that one. It's going to be shorter than Rogue. Rogue is a big boy book. This one's going to be more like All Eyes on Me. But yeah. Oh, and one more thing, I guess I can say that there will be a behind the scenes section in Rogue. There will be one, maybe not as big as All Eyes on Me, I won't lie. And yeah, that's the bad news. There won't be a preview for the third book. I'll just mention that right now. There won't be a preview for the next book, but you still have everything else on the behind the scenes, you know, like concept arts, production facts, and all that stuff. And yeah, I think that's about everything. I'm working very hard on Rogue. It's a lot of work, a lot of dreadful work, because you know what you're writing is great if you feel what these characters are feeling, you know? Like, if you feel the emotions of what you're writing, it's a good sign. It's a real good sign. And I've been discussed it multiple times now, so this is an excellent sign. Also, just writing horror, which is the genre for me. Like, it's the thing I'm the most fan of anything, from movies, from games, from books. It's the genre for everything. I absolutely fucking love it. So working on Rogue has been very thrilling and very terrifying, both literally for the characters and literally for me, because I don't want to mess it up. I've had multiple attempts at horror stories now, and they didn't turn out well. This is the first big boy horror story that I write, and so far it's great. I really like it. That about wraps it up, I think. Just know that I'm working very hard on everything Tailia Phoebe, all of the books, because there's a lot I haven't mentioned, obviously, and there's a lot I'm still coming up with. I want to explore these characters to their fullest. I love them, and I really want this thing to last for several years. So I'm just coming up with a whole bunch of stuff. I'm writing Rogue very actively. In the meantime, you can check out the first novel, obviously. Eyes on Me. It's on Amazon. I'm sorry for the price increase again. And also, yeah, there's the news. Well, to be fair, the Tailia Phoebe newsletter is a bit of a flop, so I'm probably not going to continue it. But I'm at least going to make some posts all the way up to the release of Rogue. After that, if it still stays stuck, then I'm just going to drop it silently and we'll just move on with our day. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was very informative, even if it's not a whole lot of information. I'll have some real, legitimate, big news very soon. Either like late May or definitely early June. Somewhere like that, I think. Because again, I do have a reason for in mind that I cannot communicate yet. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you for watching and see you next time.